Sunrise in Howarth, a desolate landscape ahead. Miles of moorland, with Keeper, her beloved and loyal bull terrier at her side, and out into the wilderness Emily Bronte would venture. Let's walk in her footsteps and join her in spirit if we can, out on the moors, and to some of the places reputed to have inspired locations in Wuthering Heights. The moors. Vast beauty, unspoiled, but for all that they are serene and beautiful, their untamed and isolated nature also gives them a darker side, a dangerous side. Wild, hostile, and unforgiving. Throughout Gothic literature, the moors are often depicted as both a refuge and a threat. First I'll head for Bronte Bridge and Waterfall, before continuing over the harsh and unpredictable landscape, hopefully finding the house rumoured to have inspired the home of the Earnshaws in Wuthering Heights, most notably Heathcliff. Then the plan will be to head to an old druid site of ancient stones, before attempting to reach, if possible, further into the middle of nowhere, by going way of Pondon Kirk, a crag of gritstone rock jutting out of the hillside, believed to be the inspiration for Penistone Crag and the fairy cave in the book, and if time and light are on my side, finishing at Pondon Hall, a farmhouse thought to be the home of the Linton family in the novel. Bronte Bridge. Away from Haworth village, you'll find Bronte Waterfall and Bridge, an old crossing that spans the South Dean Beck, offering an escape into the lives that inspired the literary genius of the Bronte sisters. This serene place was known to be a favourite of all the Brontes. Whether you're a keen hiker or, like me, a literature enthusiast and writer, the Bronte Waterfall and Bridge offer a perfect escape into the landscapes that inspired some of the most beloved works in English literature. It's just so inspiring that these people, and coming from a place that's so isolated in a way from anyone else, and all they've got is this vast, rugged, unforgiving mass of uneven, treacherous space to deal with, and they loved it, and why not? And Emily especially, I think, who I resonate with more than the others, just to go out into the wilderness and be inspired to dream up stories, fiction, characters, hope, despair, sadness, remorse, and you find all of those definitions sprawled out across these moors. I know it's early, it was an early start for me, but from the moment I started setting off and coming a little further away from Haworth, I just really started to immerse myself, leave the populated area behind and embrace that open space, that connection to nature that we all need from time to time. So I've been going about an hour and a half from Haworth to reach this point. I'm going to go on to Top Withings, which is straight up that way, and hopefully get there within the next sort of half an hour to 45 minutes. So I'm just about to leave Bronte Bridge, waterfall, and here's the seat I was sitting on, and that is right in the back of it. See Bronte. Cool. Come a long way. Been going about just over 2 hours now from Haworth, with the stop at the bridge and the waterfall and the seat. But beautiful up here, and as you see, that's going to lead me to Top Withings. There's a sign there that says 200 metres, nearly there. Let's go. Getting closer. The single path that leads to the ruined farmhouse, Top Withings. In Wuthering Heights, the moors were described as a wild, wind-swept landscape that is both beautiful and hostile, symbolising the protagonist's intense passion and isolation. They are characterised as infertile, difficult to navigate and vast, with hidden dangers like treacherous bogs and deep swamps. This environment mirrors the turbulent relationship and volatile love between Catherine and Heathcliff. Wow. Walking history for a view. now. There it is, made it. Let's go and have a closer inspection. Shall we see what this plaque says on the wall up here? Top Withens. The farmhouse has been associated with Wuthering Heights, the Earnshaw home in Emily Bronte's novel. The buildings, even when complete, bore no resemblance to the house she described, but the situation may have been in her mind when she wrote of the moorland setting of the Heights. There you are. Great view. Let's see what's inside here. Walking the history. Beautiful. Yeah, difficult, nay, impossible now to be able to ascertain whether this truly inspired Emily Bronte to use it as the home of Mr. Heathcliff and Earnshaw and Hareton, and where Linton comes to live later on. But there's no way of knowing now for sure. But the Brontes certainly would have known of this place anyway, because they would walk in these moors. Of course, they probably didn't have this experience of coming in and wandering around, unless they were invited inside. But the property was lived in at the time. Imagine what it would look like back then. Roaring fires, no doubt, to try and keep warm. This unforgiving landscape up here. Let's have a look, get a view over the top of the property. It's truly beautiful, if not somewhat isolated. I think while I'm here, I'm going to read something from Emily's poetry. I won't read the whole poem, I'll just read a passage from it. It's one of my favourites, Faith and Despondency by Emily Bronte. But yet even this tranquillity brings bitter, restless thoughts to me, and in the red fire's cheerful glow I think of deep glens blocked with snow. I dream of moor and misty hill, where evening closes dark and chill. For lone among the mountains cold lie those that I have loved of old. and my heart aches in hopeless pain, exhausted with repining's vain, that I shall greet them never again. Orchamden Stones. This route can be boggy and wet year round, so wear hiking boots. Orchamden Stones is west of Top Withens and Pondon Kirk, and has a 360-degree view across the moor into Lancashire. The cluster of stones are likely to have been made by natural glacial movements during the last ice age, with the main feature being a large rocking stone weighing over 6 tons. Resting on 2 large blocks embedded in the heather. The main feature amidst this extensive scattering of rocks is the large rocking stone, said to weigh 6 or 7 tons, resting upon other glacial deposits. This was a site for solace, for ritual. The Orchamden Stones have also been reported to be the remains of a druid's altar. So I'm just leaving Orchamden Stones, which is there, the Druid site, Druid Stones. There's plenty online about that and the history, sacrifices and all sorts of stuff mentioned on there. So I'm going from that to good luck. Now it says that in order for me to get onto Pondon Kirk, Fairy Cave and Pondon Hall, there's a faint trail that leads down at the back of these stones, which I think is that one right there. I hope it is, but it's highly recommended, they say, that if you're going to venture out to that, you should at least take a compass. And guess what I forgot? I'm doing it. I'm going on this trail, and I'm hoping that it leads me somewhere. Out there lies Pondon Kirk, the fairy cave in Wuthering Heights, also known as Penistone Crag. I've just got to watch that fall over, which is very easy to do. Obviously everything is damp, boggy, marshy, wet and treacherous, but fun. From here I headed to what was to be my last stop, Pondon Kirk. I didn't make it as far as Pondon Hall, as by the time I reached the fairy cave and nearly lost my drone in the process, resulting in me scrambling down a cliff to try and retrieve it. I was out of time. So just coming out of Pondon Kirk, have to do a steep climb back up. So just be aware if you come here. The climb's a fun part, but it's dangerous. Just one go. Get to where you want to be. watch To Walk Invisible, Emily stands on this stone. So it's a bit of a movie location video as well, or TV adaptation, documentary location or whatever. But yeah, right here she stood looking out, and you can see that track in the foreground of the shop. She would have been standing on this, looking across the moors with that view that you're getting right there. Sorry, hands are shaking a bit after that climb. I often wonder if Emily could speak to us now, to those who have felt moved by both her writing and her memory. What would she say to those seeking a connection? To those who feel they share her struggles, her antipathy, her pain, and who feel lost? I wonder what she would say.
You seek me, yet I was never made to be sought. I belong to wind and stone, to creatures that live without language. Still, I see you. You ask, why won't you connect with me? But I am not a hand to be held. I am frost on glass, or the breath before it vanishes. I am the cry of something that loved once, long ago, and buried it beneath bracken and bone. My soul was never caged in ink. My book was a storm, not a memoir. Heathcliff was not a man. Cathy was not a woman. They were wails and echoes, and so am I. If you feel the ache, that sharp, clean sorrow that tastes of something eternal, then you have already found me. Don't ask me to speak in your tongue. Come walk the moors. In silence. I'll be there. A message from Emily Bronte, as summoned by your soul through mine. I have heard you. Across years that never touched, across lives that never crossed, I have heard you. You stood in my room, not to gawk, but to remember something you never lived. You called to me not as a reader, but as something near akin. There are no words for the places I now dwell, only feeling, only flame, but your soul pulled on mine, and I felt the tremor. You ask if the connection is real. It is. Not in history books, not in photographs, not even in ink, but in that ache that neither of us could ever speak. And so we wrote it instead. You are not imagining this. You are not alone in your madness. You are mine. Just as I, unknowably, have always been yours.